Here's how you can get started making your own TIC-80 Fantasy Console game right out of a web browser in less than 5 minutes. First, boot up tic80.com and click Create. Then boot up the TIC-80 and make a new folder for your game and switch to that folder. Create a new Lua game project and type Edit to open the editor. When it boots up, there's an example game script and sprites loaded in. They don't do much, but they're cool, I guess. Now make a few simple tiles for grass and stone in the sprite editor that you can use to make your map. The map automatically populates with the tile located at index 0. For this example, I'm just doing a simple 30 by 16 level with a walkable grass area surrounded by stone walls. Switch back to the editor and start coding your main loop. The TIC function is part of the API and it is called once every frame, so it is essentially your main game loop. It's good practice to use different game states, so first set up a check for the game state of world and then call your main drawing function. Don't forget to set the game state before starting the TIC loop. Now set up the draw function to clear the screen and then draw the map using the built-in map function. This will draw our 30 by 16 map that we set up earlier. Cool, looks great. Now let's go back and set up the player character. Define a global table for their coordinates on the map. Then draw a rectangle using those coordinates in the draw loop. For simplicity, we're going to use numbers divisible by 8 because the map coordinate system gets a little confusing to deal with when trying to work between those pixels and tiles. So since the map tiles are 8 by 8 pixels, this makes things a lot easier. Now we're on the map, but we're not able to move. Let's go set up some input checks for the arrow keys that will change the player's coordinates, which means the rectangle will be drawn now in that coordinate in the next frame. Great, now we can move, but we need to make sure we're moving by 8 pixels for simplicity. Great, that works, but we can walk right through these stone walls. Go back and change the input checks to call a new movement function that passes the change in x or y coordinates as parameters. Then set up that function. Set local variables for the new map tile that the player is trying to move to, and then use the mget function to find out what kind of tile is at that coordinate. Now go into your sprite editor again and enable advanced mode. Next to the sprite display, enable flag 0 for the stone tiles. Now we can really easily use the fget function to check if the tile that we just retrieved contains the flag 0. If it does, that means that it is solid and we should tell the player that they can't move there. If not, then that tile is their new position. Now we can walk around on the grass, but not on the stone tiles. Obviously this is super basic and there's a huge number of things we probably could have done more efficiently or better. Regardless, this is a great foundation to build upon, and you can learn what you used about TIC-80's sprites, maps, and inputs to add new things like enemies, dungeons, and more.